Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of What's Up, Cuz. I am your host, Jason Palmer, along with my co-host and my real-life cousin, the coach himself, Lance C. Irvin. Happy President's Day, Coach Irvin. How you doing, man?
You know what, cuz I'm doing great. It was a great weekend for sports. If you enjoy sports, woo, it's a great weekend for sports. We have some fireworks. We have had some duds. We have had a little bit of everything this past week. Man, I'm happy to be on, cuz. How was your week, man? You doing good?
I'm doing good. My week was really great. My Valentine's Day was great. Just having a good time trying to enjoy life as much as possible. And you know, it's President's Day. It's a holiday for you, which means you're not working. Which I got a beef with you people in the education. Y'all got more holidays than anybody I know, Lance Irvin.
Hey, Jay, I get spoiled by some of this stuff when you work for the school board. I mean, you get 10 holidays a month, it seems like. Man, it's not like coaching, but I got a bone to pick with you too, though.
What's the bone to pick with me?
Is that New York on the top of your chest on your t-shirt? Like you from Chicago.
No, this does not say New York. This is just, actually, I don't even know where I got this
It
shirt
says
from.
New York. I'm looking at New York.
Yeah. I'm not representing New York. I'm just wearing something. This is like some designer shirt one of my family members got me.
You're getting bougie now. You can't come on with the usual sports show attire. Irvin, he has gotten bougie. Might have transitioned you to the other side.
I think one of my cousins got me this for Christmas or something. I can't.
Not your cousin Lance.
So welcome everybody to What's Up, Cuz, for our President's Day special edition show. We know it's a holiday, so we are gonna go for about an hour tonight to discuss everything, and it's just gonna be Lance and I chopping up a lot of topics that have been going on here in the world of sport.
Hey, cuz it's so juicy. You and I should have went live during the daytime.
I know, we really should have. So for those of you who are watching this on the YouTube channel, we appreciate that. Go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button to the Sports Zone Chicago YouTube channel, and you can also get access to all of our other shows on there as well. If you're watching us on the Sports Zone Chicago app, we appreciate all you watching us on the app, and make sure you check out all the other shows. Like we have the Smoke Fellas on there. We got Sean and Maya on there. We got Lakina's show on there, her afternoon show on there, Lakina McGee. We got a lot of stuff, a lot of content. Our guy Jamar Hart with Sport 1 that comes on Wednesday night. So go ahead, get that Sports Zone Chicago app, and Lance Irvin is going to tell you where you can get the app.
You know, you go to the iTunes store, you can go to the Google Play store and the Amazon store. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel, because this show has been, it has been a joy, the joy of my cousin. And we do stuff differently on this show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Our show is like no other. So on that note, Jay, I'm ready to get it. But
you ready to get it?
Oh, I'm ready to get it.
All right, we got some topics. So let's start with the hot topic trending story that happened yesterday in Madison, Wisconsin, after the Michigan Wolverines and Wisconsin Badgers players competed. Juwan Howard got to it, coach of Wisconsin. And full disclosure here, Juwan is a friend of the family.
Yes,
he played with your brother Mike at CBS. Is that correct?
He played with Mike. My mother, God bless her soul, used to tutor him some when he was in high school also. So Nook is we call him Nook. People that really know him call him Nook. Other people call him Jawan. But I'll let you finish. Go ahead. He is a
So,
family friend.
he is a family friend and a future guest on What's Up Cuz, which makes it even more funny because we were going to have Nook on pretty soon here. And then we still will have him on. Don't get us wrong.
Hmm.
But Nook got into a little heated conversation with the coach of Wisconsin yesterday during the handshake line. Some words were exchanged, and I think Ivan has a clip of what took place. Okay, so let's play the clip.
Well, see, they're going at it. Howard and Guard are not happy right now as the two of them continue to have words. We told you Juwan Howard was not happy about that timeout. Yo, Juwan Howard just threw the right hand. And now we got a scrum. We have a scrum in Madison. Players are pushing and shoving. This is an ugly scene. This is an ugly scene. Oh, my God.
So it was an ugly scene, Lance. As the man is saying. Uh, the handshake line, people are now coming out today saying it's time to do away with the handshake line, that most of the fights happen in the handshake line. As a referee, I can tell you most of the fights where I was on a match, if they happen in the handshake line. This happens. Talk to us a little bit about the handshake lines and just what you saw yesterday from that altercation.
I'll go with the altercation first.
Okay.
It's unfortunate that stuff happens where two coaches get into it, but it's not uncommon, right? And I was telling my wife when we saw this, as a coach, right? We all passionate about what we doing. It's a lot of pressure coaching. We try to say it's not, but it is though. This is how we feed our family. Most of us like to win, and sometimes we dealing with stuff off the court that you don't really know. But with that being said, I never tried to put my hands on another coach in terms of like stopping him if he's walking past. Because if you see the video, and I've watched it several times, Jawan was trying to walk past, right? And I think coach probably shouldn't have put his hands on him. And then it led to Jawan, snatching him up a little bit and pointing at him. So I think they both had it could have been handled differently, right? But it's some stuff in coaching that we know you trying to send a message and you wouldn't really do. I mean, would I call a timeout with 15 seconds left of 15? Probably not. I mean, the everybody know what most of us in coaching know. When you call a timeout with 5 seconds left, 15 seconds left, you up by that many. You know what you saying, Jay. You know what you're trying to say.
Well,
We
go
think
ahead.
you
Go ahead.
trying to rub it in.
Well, there you go.
We
That's
think
I need
like
you to
I
say that.
told my wife Paula last night. And she was like, "Oh, I didn't think about that. You're trying to rub it in. The game is over with. You up 15. They can learn and practice the next day. Even if you turn the ball over, those kids on the court still need to learn how to play in different situations. You don't call a timeout because as coaches, man, you just want to go home. But with that being said, we know don't get down by 15. And if you are winning the game, then that stuff, I'm gonna give you both sides. The coach that's coaching the other team, you have the right to do whatever you want to.
Yes.
If you want to call a timeout, you can call a timeout. But me personally, if I'm up 15 and I'm calling a timeout with 15 seconds left, I know what I'm saying to the other coach. I'm trying to stick it to you. I'm trying to rub it in. That's really what most of us understand the coach. You try. The rule of thumb is this. You up 14-15 with 5-15 seconds left. You don't call timeout. You just let them play because that's like a slap in the face to the other coach.
So to equate this, and I'm glad you explained. That's why I wanted you to talk about this.
I'm glad you said that, cuz.
I would equate this to in football, you're up by 21, there 15 seconds left. You got the ball. Instead of taking a knee, you call a fly route and throw a 60-yard touchdown pass to somebody running a fly route. It's rubbing it in. It's doing the unnecessary. It's doing something extra. And when you do that, like you said, you have every right to do it. But you also have to expect there to be a response. And that's the other part of the coin. So people who are incorrectly saying that Juwan Howard punched the head coach, first of all, he didn't punch the head coach. He pimp slapped the assistant coach is what happened. You got to expect that the other side is not going to be happy with you doing that. And what I detected, and I'm not going to talk about the coaching part, I'll just talk about kind of the social psychology aspect of this. When Ivan played the clip, and what I noticed when I watched it several times was when they were going through the handshake line, usually, correct me if I'm wrong, Lance, but it's usually both head coaches who are at the front of the handshake line, correct?
Most of the time, the head coaches, because we're more times than not, we at the head of the bench.
Exactly.
So we normally go first.
Okay, so what I noticed was Jawan wasn't first in the handshake line. There were several of his assistants that went first, and then maybe even a player or two. And then I saw Jawan. And when I saw Jawan, I know, and every black person in Chicago knows that, look, when somebody is agitated, they don't want to deal with you. Jawan wasn't looking at the other team coach. He kept looking ahead. He was kind of walking away from like, don't say nothing. And I couldn't read his lips because he was wearing the mask. But it came down just enough where he was basically said, don't say shit to me. Leave me alone. And instead of the Wisconsin coach saying, okay, I know what I did was wrong, one. Two, this man is agitated. Let me just let this go, and then maybe I can call him later and we can discuss it or whatever. But instead, he did something he ain't got no business doing, which was he stopped him. He went up there, he stopped Nook's path to going past him, and he reached out and grabbed him as if he was going to try to explain what happened or why he did it. And Juwan wasn't trying to hear that at the time. And once you did that, now the situation escalates. Now the words are getting ready to start getting exchanged. So now the words get exchanged. Now you got the assistant coaches and the trainers and all these other people coming in. So the head coach of Wisconsin, I forgot, what's his name?
Greg Gard, G-A-R-D,
Greg
Gard.
Coach Gard. He then is kind of pushed away from Jawan. And then here comes this dude who I assume this is his assistant coach who comes in. And I say all the times when stuff like this breaks out, you can either be coming in to be a peacemaker or you can come in to be a combatant. He wasn't trying to be no peacemaker. He in there running his mouth. He in there running his mouth to Jawan, and the dummy sticks his face out there. Jawan is 6'10", right?
Yes, he is.
Probably got to reach about 7 feet. You sticking your face in woofing, and you got your face slapped.
But let me say this also too. Then I'm gonna get to the sportsmanship point.
Okay.
If you look at the video, and I watched several times, the assistant coach kind of like touched two of the Michigan players. He touched this player and touched this player. I'm gonna say touched. Maybe he pushed him. I don't know. But we all taught this. You touch your own players.
Yes.
You don't touch nobody else's players. Because when you touch your players, when you touch somebody else's players, you don't do that. You don't do that. Because we might think something different. That's why when skirmishes go on, most of the time you grab your own first. Unless you really, really know one of the other players and you hugging them trying to get out the way. But that right there, you don't push up. I'm not saying he pushed Jay,
right?
But I know watching the video, if you watch it closely again, he does one on this. He touches two Michigan players, you and you. You don't do that.
Yeah, I agree.
At least that's how I was taught.
Well,
and then from the sportsmanship, Jay, people like, you know, this, that, and other. That's why they don't shoot the ball in the NBA when you up, when there's 3-4 seconds left on the clock. They bring it over. You see everybody like, don't shoot it. That's why people go off when people shoot the ball. Like you said, in the NFL, that's why they take a knee. You taking a knee for a reason. because they understand how sometimes volatile these situations might get.
Yeah.
So you understand when you grow how to handle these situations.
Well, and it's like that. It's rules in every sport. Every sport has its own
Perfect.
culture. In baseball, if you're up 10 runs in the ninth inning and you get a man on base and you steal second, it's about to be a fight. I'm just telling you, it's about to be a fight. I know because I've done it. and,
Exactly.
I've caused the fight, and I've also had it done to me, and then we had to respond. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's just every sport has its culture of unwritten rules. It's just certain sportsmanship things you
Jay,
don't do.
you summed it up. They should have Lance and Jason on some of these sports shows this morning because you just summed it up too. It's rules to most sports. Things as a player and a coach, you know you don't do. Like you so eloquently just put it. You don't steal second base or steal home. You up 10 to nothing in the ninth inning. What
Yeah,
you think gonna happen to you the next day?
right.
What you think gonna happen?
Yeah, it's gonna
Call
be
them.
something gonna happen. So I
Mhm.
think that is what happened. And I'll just say again for my man, the assistant coach who got slapped. First of all, you shouldn't have been that close to Jawan. You see, there are people in between you and Jawan. There are people in between you. Why are you woofing at him? And look where Coach Guard is. Coach Guard is all the way down here in the bottom left. We can see the bald spot on
Out
the
of
back
the
of his
way.
head. He out the way. But my whole thing was he started this whole thing. Coach Guard started this whole thing. But when them hands started flying, Coach Guard ain't nowhere around. His idiot assistant went and put himself in Jawan's reactionary zone, and you can't move fast enough if somebody decides they're gonna punch you. So just from a self-defense standpoint, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this, don't do that. Stay out of the reactionary zone of an agitated person so you don't take a shot to the head. So that's
And
kind of
Jay,
like my
once
thought on
again, I know Juwan and I know Greg. I know Juwan
it.
better than
Yeah.
I know Greg, but I know Greg, and I know Greg probably wish he wouldn't have did some of those things that he did. Cause like I said, you don't grab a guy, and you probably don't call those timeouts. They said he called a couple of timeouts, but let me say
Mhm.
this, like I said earlier, coach your team. If you want to call timeouts, call them. That's on you. I control my team, you control your thing. But some stuff, which the rules and regs of the game, you just don't do.
I agree. I agree. All right. So moving to another topic of things you don't do. Apparently, you don't dunk the ball in a dunk contest, Lance, because there was so many missed dunks at this week's NBA All-Star Weekend dunk contest that people have called it one of the worst dunk contests in the history of the dunk contest itself, Lance Irvin. You watched it live. I watched it on tape. Give me your thoughts on the dunk contest.
When you called me and mentioned the dunk contest, what was my first words to you were so people won't think no, I said that was the worst dunk contest I have ever seen.
Yes, you
I was
did.
watching the dunk contest with my wife Paula. I literally was sitting there cringing. I had a hoodie on, right? I pulled the hoodie over my head and was sitting there like, this is awful. This is awful. I tried to turn it. She wouldn't let me turn it. I said, Paul, this bad. First of all, you can't have 99 chances to do the same dunk. That's awful. Number two, if you miss, you miss. That should be it. I wasn't a dunk. I could barely dunk, but I could dunk now. But you don't do that in J. Like they need to start doing this because that was bad. And you need to tell us the dunks you gonna try to do and let us regulate it. My idea, like I was telling my boy Antoine Barnes, Ojo Barnes, I said, hey, Tony Barnes, you could have won that dunk contest easy. Bring some guys in that seriously know how to dunk, that want to do it. Because back in the day, Jay, you always had the headline dunkers. You knew Dominique was going to be in it. You knew MJ. You knew Michael Jordan. I mean, excuse
Sean
me,
Kemp.
MJ. Sean Kemp. You knew guys that was great in-game dunkers, in the game dunkers. They's gonna be in a dunk contest and then miss something. Now I don't know if it means that much to players these days because it's a cultural shift. We
Mhm.
know it always goes through change and stuff. Because we could find some guys at Farwood Park that could jump over the rim 5 times and dunk it. So it's just bad. I felt bad for the fans. The last event of the day was the worst event of the day. So Jay, that was awful. What's your thoughts on it, cuz?
It was terrible. I agree with everything you
It
said.
stank.
I agree with everything you said. You cannot have a dunk contest where you give people 4 and 5 attempts to do the dunk. If you miss that dunk, you out. That should be out. They messed up when they started doing this. Okay, give them a replay, give them another one. Back when the dunk contest was really good, if I'm not mistaken, you had 3 dunks. If you screwed up your first 2, then fine, they judged the last one and you had a cumulative score. But
Mm-hmm.
like everything else in the society, we try to keep giving everybody instant replays and mulligans, and all you can do is do that. And in life, you don't get a chance like that. It's like you either do it or you screw up. And you just deal with the consequences to screw up. But I agree with you. They're giving these guys too many chances, way too many chances to do the dunks. And I also think that there's just such a lack of creativity because there's only so much human beings and the law of physics of gravity tell you can do to try to do a dunk. I think just about all of the stuff that can be done has been done. So we can either, the way I looked at it, and I said this
Go ahead.
on Maya this morning, if you watch the figure skating competition in the Olympics, they ain't really nothing new that they're bringing to the game. But people are doing what has been done in figure skating and they're trying to do it to perfection. And that is what kind of makes it is exciting. Okay, can you do a triple loop? Okay, how is your spin? And that's what you're being judged on. I don't have a problem if they go back and just do all the dunks that Dominique did and what Sean Kemp did and Vince Carter did, and see if you can put maybe a new twist on that, or kind of repeat how they did it, and then you judge them on that. Because if we're expecting these guys to come out with something completely brand new, then you're going to be disappointed because I think they've done everything that's humanly possible.
You know what, Jay? I think the mind is such a vehicle or tool where somebody somewhere can probably come up with something a little bit different that we hadn't seen before. Because who would have thought a guy jump in the air, take it behind his back, and dunk it like that? So I disagree with you on a little bit. I do agree with you. Most of the dunks that we know of have been done. But I think if you get guys that actually do these type dunks, who really wants to make a living doing dunks, and that's all they do, I think they could come up with some stuff that we like, ooh, that's nice. See, because they gonna take it a little bit more serious. If you tell a street dunker, okay, I'm gonna put you in the NBA slam dunk contest. We gonna give you 200,000 if you win.
Mm.
They eyes will light up like, oh, it's on. They're not playing with it. And
Right.
if you tell guys in the NBA, okay, you want to be in this dunk contest, you competing against these 4 or 5 guys from out the street. Because everybody know when you play, we know like this. That's like if you played in Chicago, if you was in the NBA, if you ran up against my brother Mac on one of those courts, oh, you knew what it was. A guy that's not in the NBA that's gonna give you fits. We know it's some dunkers out there, Jay. You run into them, this what they do. It's tough because, like most street ballers know, how you try to talk crazy against that 12th man in the NBA. That 12th man in the NBA is a very good player. And
Yes,
he
he is.
probably taught you too now. So it's levels and layers to the stuff. Let's go get some dunkers that does it for a living and let them dunk it out at halftime against guys in the NBA that want to go out there and dunk. Like Zach Levine. Zach is a great in-game dunker. Zach is a professional dunker too. Zach stuff is like, woo, woo, he's excited, he's creative. You need guys like that. I think Ja is a good dunker in game, and
Mhm.
he's probably is creative enough and jump high enough to do some stuff. But some of these guys we seen lately, we sitting there like, no, that's not it. That's not it.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too is kind of like the will, trying to get the guys to have the will to want to be in the dunk contest who can really do it. I think that's definitely an issue. Um, and I also want to say that, you know, maybe they should also move the dunk contest to not make it the premier event for All Star Saturday night. Like maybe
Mm-hmm.
3-point shooting competition is now at that level where it's more exciting than the dunk contest. So you make it the premier event of All Star Saturday night.
Good point.
The dunk contest with the celebrity game or whatever the
Mm-hmm.
hell you want to do, or the skills competition or whatever. Because I just think it's evolved now with a 3-point shooting competition is the better thing. And also, I don't want to get off this topic All Star Weekend. We got to talk about your guy, Io. Io was out there. He played in the Rising Stars game, which was played. That was played Friday night. Am I
It's
correct?
for Friday night. Mm-hmm.
Friday night. Give me your assessment of what you saw with Io in that game.
I didn't watch the actual game, but from some of the clips watched, he looked okay. It was some people telling me they wish he would have played a little hard on the defensive end, kind of. So I was happy he was out there because in the end, you always happy to see somebody you coach, somebody actually out there. I thought the format was good the way they did it. I didn't see Iowa team actually play, but I saw a couple of games after that because I got home late. And I
Mm-hmm.
thought those guys was out there playing hard,
Mm-hmm.
So I like the format of what they doing, but I'm happy for Io. And hopefully in the years to come, he could actually play in the other game. But I was happy, man, and I'm definitely proud of it. Boy, that boy that came a long way, Jay. I remember when he was younger, he was a little skinny twig, but now he's got muscles on top of muscles now. So I'm happy for him. Happy he had the opportunity, and I'm happy for the type season that he's having. But there's changes need to be made, like you said, like they made a change and made it a format for the Rising Stars.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's great for the game. What they doing with the Elam ending and the regular All Star game, add 24 points on, which is Kobe's Bryant number, and
Mm-hmm.
you play to that because you remember the All Star game was a little bit lackluster for a couple of years,
Mm-hmm.
and they came out with a way to make it a little bit more exciting, especially when you add a situation where you putting Kobe Bryant name on something because everybody knows how Kobe will play. Like Kobe wasn't joking around them All Star games. Maybe he was joking for a little bit, but Kobe was winning MVPs too. He was serious. And also, Jay, can we talk about Steph Curry for a little while?
Yes, please do.
I was talking to my wife this morning. My wife said people were making comments about Steph Curry being greedy. He was shooting all the balls. First of all, Steph Curry gave money for every point he had to charity. Number two, you one of the best shooters in the whole world. You go 15 for 17 shooting threes. At one point, he was like 15 for 17 shooting threes. Who you
Mm-hmm.
think we're going to pass the ball to? If people on your team passing you the ball and telling you to shoot, he's shooting for a reason. So I didn't think he was being selfish. The money they said something like for every point he made, he gave $1,000 to charity. For
Mm-hmm.
every 3-pointer he made, it was like 10,000 to charity. And if he got an MVP, he gave extra 10. So I didn't see anything wrong for what Steph was doing. He put on a phenomenal shooting show. Anytime you shoot the ball from 30 feet, 31 feet, and you let that thing go and you turn before it go in, AJ, that's a sight to see. So people leave Steph alone because you might not see another marksman like that in our lifetime.
I agree. He's the greatest shooter of our time. He's the greatest shooter of all time. I mean, why you and me mad? I'd be mad if he was dunking. I'd be like, what the hell is Steph Curry doing? Nobody want to see you do no one-handed dunk, man. Sit down somewhere. I want to see a shooter shoot. I want to see a dunk. No, it's an exhibition game. That's what you're supposed to do. So, yeah, I agree with you 100% there. And I was glad to see Steph. He performed. I think a lot of times we forget these professional athletes in whatever sport they are. They're artists. They're artists for that particular sport. And I also think that we're seeing changes in formats to all the major sports. Baseball has changed the format, the All-Star game a little bit. They've played with it. We've seen hockey. They've changed their All-Star game. It used to be the Eastern Conference with the Western Conference. Now they break them up by teams in the divisions, and it's 3-on-3, so it opens up the ice. We get to see a lot more play. And you and I just talked 2 weeks ago about the Pro Bowl and how disgusting it has become. And we now know they got to change that. Ivan suggested maybe do a 7-on-7 for the Pro Bowl. I mean, they've got to come up with something because the Pro Bowl is unwatchable. It was like the dunk contest. Let's be honest. There you go. That's our question for next week. Which one was worse, the Pro Bowl or the dunk contest?
That's a great question. That's great. That's great because, like you said, Jay, the dunk contest, the word you just used, it was unwatchable.
Right.
I mean, guys were barely, Jay, like their first attempts wasn't even close.
Yeah.
The second attempt wasn't close. So you and I both know most of us attention span is like 15 seconds. After 15 seconds, what are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing? They should, AJ, we would have got more bang for our buck if you would have bought old Dominique out, like you said. Dr. J probably could still dunk. Most of us might get excited to see if MJ could still do a cup dunk.
Right.
I mean, people get excited over that versus that crud we saw. Seriously, you would rather, Jay, after watching what they did, would you rather see somebody like Dominique at his age, seeing if he still can cock it behind his neck?
Well, I would say no, because I don't want to see the legends I hate to see Dominique.
But if he could, you would be shocked if Dominique could still cock that thing behind his head.
I actually wouldn't be shocked because I know how these former pro athletes are. And I think that's the thing people forget. They'll be like, oh, he's old. Them dude is a former professional athlete. Out. Yeah. That dude is like the average 20-year-old with his strength and agility and all that. Don't be messing with these pro athletes. That's why I be laughing. People be trying to get in the fights with him, and that's why, again, this whole thing that happened with Juwan Howard, like, Juwan Howard is a former NBA player, you moron. 6'10". Why would you aggravate this man?
And
Leave him
Jay,
alone.
and he wasn't known as a soft player.
No.
You know your history about these guys. Most players from Chicago, you know what they say about us now.
Right.
We're tough. You very hear them say a player from Chicago is soft.
Soft.
And to make it to another level, we think, like I tell people, I was a defensive player, Jay. So most guys play defense. We got a little edge about us too.
right.
Now. We
Patrick
like
Beverly. Patrick Beverly.
he has an edge to him now. You Jay, he has an edge. You know we got edge to us. So stop trying that BS stuff.
Randy Brown.
Tough.
From Chicago, from the West Side, defensive player. It's
Tough.
like you say, it's just certain people you know. Don't be messing with these people.
Tim Hardaway. Have you ever heard them call Tim soft? Kendall Gill.
No.
Your cousin Byron Irvin.
I know. Like, just
Don't-
leave people.
no, just
that
leave
was,
people alone.
that's
Let
what I got
Mark
out of
McGuire.
yeah.
Let him be.
Leave
And
him
then-
alone, man.
And then Jay, to continue on All-Star, how good was it to see the 75 greatest NBA players,
was
those
great,
that
man.
made it, come out there? Like, I was so happy to see the Iceman. I was like, ooh, that's the Iceman right there. You know, you used to have his big poster with him holding the two ice balls. I mean, I was so happy to see Iceman yesterday. Like, my biggest thrill that I got was when they said Nate Tiny Archibald. Because Tiny came by the house several times when he was coaching. I used to have conversations with Nate Archibald, Tiny, Coach Tiny there. I was happy to see him, Isaiah. That was probably the best part of the All-Star weekend to me.
Yeah, for me it was too. I thought that was a highlight of the weekend. People went in on Cleveland saying, "Oh, it shouldn't have been in the city of Cleveland." Look, Cleveland got
Why
an
not?
NBA team. They all right. You know, Cleveland don't have, as much, but we got to go to all these cities. I have not been to Cleveland, but my wife and I are planning to go perhaps sometime
Nice.
next year. We want to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and see whatever else Cleveland has to offer. So I don't have a problem with it being in Cleveland. Now, next year I got a problem because it's in Salt Lake City, Utah. And
I like Salt Lake. I
Yeah.
like Salt Lake.
Salt Lake ain't kind to black
I
people.
like Salt Lake. I just said I like it.
Well, okay, Lance Irvin, you one of the few, because most black people know don't go there. I mean, the Jazz be calling us names and all sorts of stuff. And, it's the Mormon town. Black people ain't, I don't know what they going to do next year. Them parties ain't going to be that good. They don't like going to those Salt Lake City to party. Like,
I think they need a rename. They need a name change because isn't jazz like outlawed over there or something like that?
well, and I mean, they got the name because they used to be, for people who don't know, they used to be the New Orleans Jazz. That used to be the franchise, and then they moved them to Salt Lake, and they never changed the name. So if you like me and you going, Why the hell are they called the Jazz and they in Salt Lake City? That's why. It's because they used to be in New Orleans and they moved out there and they never came up with another name. But hey, that's it. So we're going to take a commercial break. We've been talking about a bunch of terrible stuff here. We're going to talk about something beautiful when we come back. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're coming right back with a few more topics. You're watching What's Up, Cuz?
As an Olympic athlete, I prepare for everything. So when I became pregnant, I thought I was ready. But at 32 weeks, I was diagnosed with severe preeclampsia and had an emergency C-section. Looking back, had I known the warning signs, I would have talked to my doctor sooner. Too many women die of pregnancy-related complications, and most are preventable. If you or someone you know is pregnant or recently had a baby, learn the warning signs. It could help save her life. Hear her.
I make my living asking tough questions, so here's a question for you. If you had the power to save a life, would you? I have a chance to survive blood cancer because my big sister answered yes to being my marrow donor. Right now, you can go to bethematch.org and offer a cure to someone with a disease like leukemia. So, what will your answer be?
Uh-oh.
Looks like
Y'all
it
set
might
me
be
up.
not
Y'all
playing.
set me up.
I'll get that.
Y'all set me up. Yeah.
We set you up? What are you talking about? Nobody set you up.
I know what y'all was about to do.
We don't know what we about to do. We're talking basketball topics here on What's Up, Cuz. What's your problem, man?
Hey,
so
Jay, let me talk
paranoid.
about this topic too, though.
Okay.
DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
That man is a professional scorer, like we've been saying. I don't know if you saw the last quarter, but down the stretch, everybody in the NBA know and they understand that DeMar is the most lethal fourth quarter scorer in the NBA. You see, I think that score was like 157, 159. Hey, you see who they threw the ball to? DeMar, come on, get us one. That man got to the elbow, yackle. And then that LeBron James finish, Jay, it was kind of disrespectful, but it wasn't disrespectful. Did you see how he started? What's your thoughts on him licking his fingers before they pass him the ball?
I mean, ballers go ball. He did what he did. Oh, wait, what is this? Okay, wait a minute.
There's no need for you have a little.
There was some jawing action between Delshawn Strickland and I think the DePaul bench.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that Chicago State?
I knew y'all was trying to set me up.
Strickland said something to Coach Lato. Coach Lato being a former player, and I mean, you're not going to just say anything. That's unnecessary right there. There's no need for a player to say anything to the coach, especially when you're losing a game right now at this time, and then now it turns into extra stuff.
Trying to sort this out.
Hey, I know that guy.
Potter, Lamar Simpson, Jimmy Lucky. The officials tonight doing a little bit of
Look at that walk. Look at that walk, Ivan. Look at that walk.
I mean, the knees had got stiff. I mean, you know, but
they escorting my cousin out of Wintrust Arena.
But
understand where the fairness is in this whole situation.
you see what Dickie said? And I have never seen that clip before. And my walk was, you know, those knees get stiff after so long. I probably walked like 15,000 steps during the game. I led coaches in most steps walk.
Okay.
But Jay, first of all, you want to know what your player said or what was said to my player. I'm not going to tell y'all the whole story behind it.
Okay.
But with that being said, though, they tossed me for the wrong reason. I'm like, why y'all tossing me? I didn't even really say nothing to y'all. All I said was, man, y'all can't do that. Y'all wrong for that. Then I heard the comment another coach made. Of course, most coaches, you're going to stand up for your players. That's all I'm going to say. I heard a comment that was made. And I didn't like the comment. So what you think I'm going to do? I didn't say nothing crazy. I seen coaches dog curse out referees and don't get sent to the locker room. I have heard, Jay, I have heard some stuff, y'all, from top 5, top 10 coaches that'll make you cringe, that don't even get a look. And I told them, y'all want to send me to the locker room? Man, y'all wrong. And they came back to apologize after the fact, and I told them, no, don't do that now, because it's too late. Y'all escorted me to the locker room for what? For what? I know what y'all trying to do. So they was wrong. And at the end of the day, people say coaches need to handle ourselves differently. Yeah, I get that. But everybody need to handle themselves differently. And when you wrong, you wrong. In that situation, I wasn't wrong.
So just to give everybody, that was when Lance was the former coach at Chicago State, and that was Dave Lato, who's also the former coach at DePaul. This was about probably 3-4 years ago. They got into an exchange of words that were said between coaches. Thankfully, Lance did not go nook and pimp slap Dave Lato.
Hey, Jay, like I told you a few minutes ago, they can say what they want to about people from Chicago, but soft is not one of those words.
It isn't.
No,
It
no,
isn't.
no,
Well, thank you.
no.
Well, thank
No.
you for not putting the
But I'm
family
glad
all
y'all
over
find
this.
that clip. Dang, ooh, I need to get a new walk. I need this bird just watching that. I'm gonna start fast walking now.
I think the walk is what had me in tears when I saw it. So Lance got ejected from the game, but no slaps were made of assistant coaches, so everything went well. But hey, let's talk about something beautiful. Our next topic, we got a video
What's that?
of it
What's
too, but let's talk about our former guest and friend of the show who made news a couple of weeks ago while we were on vacation. Our good friend, the beautiful Sydney Carter, the assistant coach of the women's program, women's basketball team down there at Texas A&M. So Sydney made news a couple of weeks ago regarding an outfit that she wore to a game. Not that particular outfit. There we go. She was wearing, go back to the other one. There it is. She was wearing the pink pants. It was a part of a breast cancer awareness game in University of Kentucky. Some idiot went on social media and said her attire was inappropriate for a coach. And it just caused a media hailstorm. And people started referring back to our interview when we had Coach Carter on our show around November the 1st. I think it was the November 1st show. We had Sydney on our show talking about her dress attire during the games. And Ivan, I think, has the clip of it. Let's go ahead and play the clip of what Sydney said.
So we have more photographs here of Miss Sydney.
I was gonna say I actually have my own nail Instagram.
See, there you go.
So yeah.
No, seriously, we need to bring that out there, Jay.
Yeah, Sydney also likes dresses and high heel shoes, Lance.
I do.
Sydney she'll wear her. This is her on the sideline. She's got a mask on. Got to be safe. She's got a high heel shoes on. She wearing her dress and she out there coaching. So she a little fashionista too. And this is one of her. What was this?
This is the SEC championship dress.
That's the SEC. Look, she even got names for them.
Yeah.
SEC championship dress.
Yeah, I just ordered about probably 30 new wardrobe because everybody thinks I'm so extra, which I am.
You ordered what?
Yeah, I ordered about 30 different outfits for the season because I don't like to wear things twice. So anything you saw last year, you're probably not going to see this year.
Wow.
And it's gonna start on Wednesday, and it's my birthday month. So I've told everybody November is going to be very, very extra from me.
So Sydney, let me ask you this: in terms of talking to the players about fashion and stuff, because oftentimes I used to tell people that's a part of your brand, so you want to make sure your brand is right. What conversations do you have with your players about fashion for their brand, right? Because you want everybody to look good, Jay, and I think that your brand need to be a part of you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I talk about them branding themselves in general. So what type of product are you putting out? How do you want to be seen? Are you out here posting, when you're younger, you can post you want to post your bikini photos or whatever. I don't recommend that because I did that and that was a mistake of mine.
Oh.
'Cause as you grow older, you're not going to want that type of stuff out there. But I talk to them about, just being professional, and it's starting now, because you don't want to get into a situation where somebody, when you're trying to get a.
So there you go. That was our interview with Sydney Carter back in November. And Sydney told us, I like to dress. I like to dress extra. I like to look good. And she's a very attractive young lady. Let's just be honest. So I think some of the criticism that she was getting had nothing to do with anything else. It was just the fact that this was a Black woman who's curvaceous, who's very physically beautiful. And some people thought, oh, she shouldn't be, wearing that. That dress is inappropriate. And I thought it was the most insane, stupidest controversy so far of the year 2022. What were your thoughts, Lance?
Kind of like you, Jay. I think you summed it up well. I thought that at the end of the day, you have to feel comfortable wearing what you think is appropriate, right? And I knew people was gonna holler. When I saw what she was wearing, I told my wife, I said, this is gonna cause a problem. And I specifically said that because I understand after coaching for so many years, Jay, you understand how people think. Now, but I also knew how Muffet, and somebody put a post up about this when she was working at Notre Dame. She had on some skirts or outfit where I used to say that maybe gonna get a comment too. But so with that being said, though, I think she's a beautiful person. She's a very good coach. That's what I think got lost in some of the stuff too. Sydney, when she was on the show talking to us, Jay, and what I know listening to it, excuse me, she's a very good coach. So did you have a problem with it, cuz?
No, I ain't have no problem with it. I ain't never got no problem with a fine woman looking fine. And that was my problem with the whole controversy. I was like, why are we bothering women because they're cute? We shouldn't be bothering women, period. Leave these women alone. What, they didn't do nothing to you, but it seems like this went extra. And this is what I'm talking about. I think all women are beautiful. Some women just happen to be more physically beautiful than others. Okay. They were picking on her because she happened to be in that extra top 10% class that everybody really kind of wishes they could be in. And they were giving her grief about it. And I just could not understand. I was like, this young woman is very smart. She's very talented, very professional. She came on our show. It was one of our best interviews we've had in the history of the show. We got great fan reaction from it. Everybody loved what she was saying. And I saw the outfit and I immediately understood what was going on because our friend Kelly Bond was also wearing pink that day, as well as a lot of the other coaches were wearing the pink. But I was like, they gonna say something because Sydney looked good. And they gonna pick on her. They gonna pick on her because this girl is cute. And sure enough, the next day, the thing went on social media and it was all over the place. And people started blowing us up on the What's Up Cuz Twitter page. You all should follow, by the way. The What's Up Cuz Twitter page, people started retweeting our tweet when we were announcing Sydney Carter was going to be on the show. And I was like, well, this is weird because she was on the show in November. It's now February. Why is everybody all of a sudden retweeting this?
I was wondering that too.
And it was because people were trying to find out about Sydney. People were going, who is this Sydney Carter? So they were just Googling Sydney Carter. And fortunately, they came across the What's Up Cuz interview. And, it just started blowing up all over the place. So, I thought the whole controversy was stupid, but I thought Sydney has handled this with such grace. I think Texas A&M really stood by her. They never released a statement saying, oh, our coaches' outfits were inappropriate. They came out and supported her. And that very next game, she wore a different outfit, which I thought was hilarious. And all of the team members were kind of standing behind her, mimicking her walk. But she's admitted, I'm kind of bougie. I got my nails, I got my dresses. That's the way I roll. And I was like, yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I just thought it was the dumbest controversy. And this was probably my favorite picture. A young Black girl who was inspired by what Sydney wore. And she sent the message, I am Coach Carter. And she's got her mimic pink pants. She's even got the breast cancer awareness pin on her. And I just thought this was just a really cute photo. And I thought it really spoke to the controversy more than anything else because little Black girls need people to look up to. And I think Sydney Carter is one of those people.
And Jason, now that I see that picture, I'm just sitting here thinking because you know those sweats that we wear now,
Mhm.
those like tapered, tight fitting sweats like that. It's like the sweats that we wear also. And I don't know if I'm saying this right, but they fit crazy too now. And
Mhm.
at the end of the day, we don't say nothing about that. We don't say nothing about those sweats that's basically similar cut to some of the stuff that I see other coaches wearing. And like I said before, I think she's a good coach, and they handled that great. I like what Texas A&M did to get out in front of it, and I thought they handled that situation great. And I meant to ask you, staying on it's on this topic, but going back to the Juwan Howard
Mhm.
situation, if I can. I was talking to some coaches, and you know how Ward Manuel, the AD at Michigan, how he got out in front of it and made a statement. Do you think he should have made a statement when he made a statement?
You know, I'm not a PR person. Um, PR people have a way of doing things. And let's be honest, the PR people, the people who make the statement, they may put the athletic director's name on it and he may sign off on it. But it's basically SID and PR people who are saying, yo, we need to say something about this. I think you say something, you say, yes, we are aware of the incident. We're going to look into this and see what happened. I don't necessarily have a problem with people doing that unless they start assessing blame before
Mhm.
an investigation is completed. Because I think we saw the video, but we couldn't hear what was said. And
Mhm.
we're now seeing videos that are coming out with more audio, so we can hear exactly what was said. I think you have to think a totality of the circumstances in. And I think the Big Ten Conference is going to do their due diligence. University of Wisconsin is going to get involved, and so is the University of Michigan. And I think those three entities will hand out disciplinary actions if they feel is necessary. I think it is necessary. But I mean, this type of stuff happens. I mean, I'll tell you a story. I mean, Bo Ellis. We all know.
Mhm.
Oh, a cool dude. I was a student in Chicago State. I was the manager editor of the newspaper when Bo Ellis and Greg Campy, who used to coach at Oakland,
That still coaches at Oakland.
he's
He's
still
still
there.
there.
Get
He's
out of here. That dude
still
got to be there 30 years.
he's
Jesus
still
Christ.
there. No,
Okay.
this go ahead. You tell me
Yeah.
something I don't
So
know.
Bo Ellis and Greg Campy got into a fight at the end of the game.
What?
Now, this had to be in like 98, 99. That was when I left.
Uh-huh.
And at the end of the game, going through the handshake line, Greg said something to Bo, and all I saw, Bo, a tall dude again.
Bo about 6'8" too now.
I'm saying it's the John Howard rule. Bo put his hand in Greg's face, or Greg tried to put his hand Bo face. Somebody slapped somebody's hand. Next thing I knew, Bo had his arms around Greg around his neck. And Greg Campy ain't no tall dude compared to Bo.
The Greg Campy about
Yes.
5'10".
And all I see is Bo choking Greg Campy and Campy trying to get loose. And then our assistant coaches and the players are coming in. And I'm sitting there on press row. So I have the perfect view of this entire thing. And I'm sitting next to Bill Joust of the Chicago Tribune. And I think it was Lynn Ziem of the Chicago Sun-Times. And we're sitting there like, Bo about to hurt this dude. Bo, a big guy. So, it was a little skirmish. They broke it up. And at the end of the day, the Mid-Continent Conference suspended both of them for, the altercation. And, there was a statement released. But I was there for it. So I've seen this happen several times before.
So do you think it should still be a handshake line? And are people on edge because of COVID and some of the other things we've been dealing with in the last couple of years?
Yes, I think Kedrick Prince, our former guest, Kedrick Prince from down in Champaign, he has been an advocate of getting rid of the handshake line for the last 3 years. This was before COVID. Kedrick always posts this on Twitter because he said it's too much stuff to go on these handshake lines. He was talking not just the college, but especially down the lower level where he coaches the high schools and the travel kid. He's like, there's no need for it. He's like, nothing good comes from it. He's like, it's symbolic. I get it. But when something go wrong, it go really wrong. And you've got 20 people out there fighting. So he was like, let's do away with it. And in all fairness, there was also another fight at the North Dakota State game this weekend and a handshake line. And so these things are happening.
Oh,
so,
I saw that one.
Yeah. So Kedrick is saying we should have been gotten rid of this thing. I don't know. I understand it, but also I can speak as a referee. I'm more conscientious when they go through the handshake line if it was a really close game or I got two rival schools that was playing each
Mm-hmm.
other because I know something can happen, which is why I usually try to leave because if I stay, I actually have to do a report. So
let me ask you this: do you think it's something wrong with like what the NBA does? I don't think it's nothing wrong. Coaches look at each other, everybody point, and then they go to. I don't see nothing wrong with that. But people, when I said that, people was like, "No, they need to shake hands." I'm like, number one, it's COVID. Number
yeah,
two, if I'm looking, like if I see you walking down the street, Jay, I don't necessarily have to cross the street to shake your hand. I might give you like,
right.
what's up, Jay,
Or
and
give me the
keep it
nod.
going.
Give me
Exactly. Like,
the nod.
but I don't. I mean. I'm not saying they shouldn't shake hands. I'm
Right.
just saying I don't see nothing wrong with a point. Okay, I mean,
I don't see nothing wrong with it either. I do think it's sad that, in society we can't control ourselves through a handshake line. But I understand sports are different. It's a very emotional thing people have been through. And in some of these games, or if somebody does something to rub it in, something can slip off.
even from a coaching standpoint, like I, a coach told me this, and he was my favorite coach. And he told me this, and he used to do it. I'm not gonna tell you his name, but he really wouldn't speak to us until the next day. He say, "Fellas, we played hard, win or lose," because he said, sometimes as a coach, I get real emotional.
Mm-hmm.
You guys still might be emotional from the game and stuff. Not maybe it might not come out right. So he used to say, "Good job, fellas. Wish we did this and this." Then the next day he'd come back in and say some stuff, and
Right.
I kind of had that in the back of my brain, back of my mind all the time. Like when I used to speak to the team, fellas, man, let me go watch tape. Y'all enjoy yourself. Blah 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 blah, and I'm gone, and
Right.
that's it.
Yeah, and that's a way to do it because you need to have time to get the emotions out. You got to get the emotion
Hmm.
out of your system. I've seen this happen. I know family members who've gotten in fights with other family members because both people were emotional at the time. And they said some things or did some things they shouldn't have been doing. And when they think about it 24 hours later, it's like, man, I was tripping. I know
Hmm.
I've done it before. I know, I'm like, oh man, what the hell was I thinking when I did that? That's my own
See?
family member. What's wrong with me? So I mean, it's sports are emotional. Dewan is having a tough season. He didn't like what happened. It was just a perfect climate for something to happen and it happened. But hey, what can I say? Hey, let's hit a couple more topics before we get out of here.
Come
So
on, bring it on.
our guy Brian Flores, who has filed a suit against the NFL for racial discrimination, was hired Saturday by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin, one of the few brother African American head coaches in the NFL. He is now a special defensive assistant coach with the Pittsburgh Steelers. People are liking this to saying brothers looking out for brothers, which is a good thing, more we need. You can also say that Mike Tomlin's defense on his team wasn't good, and Brian Flores, what the hell he doing? And Mike Tomlin said, "Man, this dude gonna make me look better." Now, the fact that he may be black too is a bonus for me, but bottom line is I need to win some games. So, what were your thoughts on it?
I thought it was great because most times we would do the opposite. I think we won't hire him because number one, somebody just let him go, or number two, he's suing the NFL. But he's a good coach. Why not give him another opportunity and another shot? And sometimes it takes people to believe in you to give you another shot. He should be on the staff. Just because he's suing the NFLJ doesn't mean he doesn't have a right to make a living. No one never said he was a bad coach. I got it from you. Has anybody ever said he was a bad coach, Jay?
Nope.
So if he's black, so be it.
Right.
Mike Tomlin can probably pull it off, and ain't nobody gonna really say nothing to him either, Jay, because
Yeah.
he's been in the league for 15 years,
Yeah.
and he's been winning. He's a veteran coach. Do
Mm-hmm.
you think if it was somebody in their first or second year, they would have afforded him the opportunity? It's only two black head coaches in the NFL, Jay.
Him and Love.
Love you. So, what's your thoughts? I mean, do
Well,
you think?
I mean, as much as I did not like Lovey as a head coach, I always respected Lovey because Lovey always hired African Americans on his staff. If you look back at his history, wherever he was, when he was in
Mhm.
that position, even at the University of Illinois, when he was in a position to bring in a wider array of candidates for these positions,
Mhm.
he always did, and he always hired a number of African Americans. So I think Lovey can do it. I think Mike Tomlin can do it. And I was very happy to see Tomlin bring him in. I do think it was mostly a football decision, but I also think Mike Tomlin ain't no fool. He understand what's going on. And he was like, well, I'm going to help this brother out. I'm going to help this brother eat and put food on his table. And the thing I really like about it is just by keeping him on in the league itself, it'll give Flores a better opportunity to get other head coaching opportunities as they open up. And that's why I think it was really great. Yeah, you may have to go. Sometimes you got to step backwards in order to go forwards.
Mhm.
I'm not going to talk about, your situation with coaching, but, sometimes you have to leave a place in order to reorganize, and then get on to that next step. You got to go backwards before you can go forward. And that's what I think more so about the whole Brian Flores situation. So we'll see what happens kind of going forward with that in that particular lawsuit. But shout out to Mike Tomlin for helping
I
him
got to
out.
clap on that.
Yeah, got to clap on that. Way to go, Mike. Good job. Good job. Another topic we want to get into that we missed because we were not on last week, the Super Bowl halftime show that took place. Dr. Dre,
I gotta talk to you about this one.
it was promoted as being perhaps it was going to be one of the greatest Super Bowl halftime shows ever. When I saw the lineup, I said, okay, this has the potential. Now, let me say this before people go in on me, because some people were mad at me. I didn't say the show was bad. I said it wasn't great. I thought it was a good halftime show, not a great halftime show. If I had to grade it, I'd give it a B. I would say a B to a B plus, and it's probably within the top 10 of halftime shows. However, it didn't reach the great. It didn't reach the level of Prince. It didn't reach the level of Beyonce. It didn't reach the level of Bruno Mars, in my personal opinion. But I did think it was a good show. Lance, your thoughts?
This is the level of a Michael Jackson show. You know, I always got to throw Mike in there.
Mike, throw Mike in there too.
I got to throw my man up there. I thought it was good, Jay, but I didn't think it was the best. Like, I didn't leave out of there like, ooh, that was fire. Because when you talk about the people, people know I like Prince, I love Mike. But when you doing a show in the rain and you don't miss a beat, you got to give it up to that man. I thought it was good, Jay. I thought Kendrick Lamar did his thing. I thought Kendrick did. I probably, like you said, I probably would have gave it a B, but I just didn't walk away from that thinking like it was the best ever. I thought it was good. I was happy for hip hop. I was happy they had a platform. They were on the stage where everybody across the whole world can see how far hip hop has come. But with that being said, is it the best? Doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think it was the best. I'm sorry. And people got mad at me and said, "Oh, Jason, why you hating? Why you ain't happy? You can't never be happy with stuff." I'm like, look, I didn't say it was a bad show, people. I said it was a good show. I enjoyed it. I was entertained. But here's what I have. I'm not just gonna criticize without giving some examples of what I thought could have done it. I think it could have been great. I think it could have perhaps been the greatest of all time had they made a couple of changes.
All right, let me hear, because I didn't
Here's a
read your
couple of-
article on this. Break it
Here's
down.
a couple
Come
of
on.
changes. First thing I would have done, I would have replaced Kendrick Lamar with Ice Cube. Because if you put Ice Cube in there, you're keeping that Southern California theme to it.
Okay.
All connect Dre with Ice Cube. And Ice Cube is a megastar. He's a megastar from that area. You put him on that show and let him do 2 songs. Okay. The second thing I'd have done, and this is the one to make women get ready to shoot me, I wouldn't have had Mary J. Blige. You know who I would have had?
Who you had?
I would have had Michelle A.
Oh, so you really keeping it like West Coast.
I would have kept it all West Coast with that California thing. Now, let's be honest on why those 2 things didn't happen. Ice Cube and Dre been beefing. Okay,
Mhm.
we all know about that, and we all know what happened between Dr. Dre and Michelle A. with the physical abuse and the domestic abuse, and the man actually pulled out a gun and shot at the woman. Okay,
Mhm.
they Michelle A. has talked about it, so we know that's why that did not happen. Now, it would have been a perfect fairy tale to have her share the stage with Dre for a song, or hell, Dre ain't even got to be on the stage. Let her do her thing. But the NFL has got a problem with domestic violence. This would have been a perfect way to say, look, these two have been able to work through those situations and bring
Mhm.
it together, and also give us an entertaining show, because people tripping. That Michelle A. album back in '89, that album was hitting.
Hey, it was a good album. Now,
So
the songs they was making.
exactly.
Yeah,
So that's
go
what
ahead.
I would have done. And then the last thing I would have done is, I'm sorry, I don't know why it didn't happen, but I would have did 2 holograms. One, I'd have had a Tupac hologram with Dr. Dre when they were doing California Love.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
And the second hologram, which would have set this show off.
Easy.
Y'all
Don't
should
say
have
easy. Don't say
move
easy.
on easy. You
At
got
the
to bring that.
at the piano, Jason. If he just came up at the piano, that would have been amazing.
See, let me tell you how I know you 100% right. You know how you broke it down technical. I'm a type person, I get a feeling. Like when I start getting chills, like I know, like, man, that's just the way my body works. You know, when I get chills, I'm like, ooh, that's fire. What you just said about easy, I start getting chills. I'm like, ooh, that would have set it off. Jay, that would have brought the roof off the place right there.
Yes, it would have. Because can you imagine if they had cut down all the lights in the stadium and all of a sudden just played like a brief intro? Because we all know that intro to that song, and it was coming in just the atmosphere with a build up,
Man.
and then you drop that bass line and a hologram of Easy E shows up at
We
midfield.
won't. Hey, that's
Oh my
said.
God.
We won't easy. Ooh, wait. Hey, that would have told. You see, I'm sitting there like that would have bought the roof off.
And that would have made it the greatest. That would have possibly knocked Prince off the pedestal, if you ask me in my personal opinion. Had they made those changes.
Now, Miss LA, I probably go with Mary, even though Miss
Okay.
LA was cool. But that easy, no, that would have been fire. That would have been fire. That would have been fire. What did you think about the outfits? Was there anything about the outfits, costume? Could that have made it better? Or
I love the outfits. I love watching Snoop try to dance. I found that to be hilarious. Snoop was up there, and then we all found out that Snoop had hit the weed before he went on stage. Man, that's Snoop. That's what he gonna do. So, I mean, that wasn't no surprise. I like the outfits. I like the theme of the setup. I got it. It was very artistic. They were, it was kind of like a map of
Compton.
Los Angeles on the bottom with Compton, and then how they had the low rider car. So I got the whole thing, which is why I was like, just keep it in that area. That's why I was saying. That's why you bring in Cube and holograms of Tupac and Ice Cube, because you can now get the whole theme you were going for. And Kendrick Lamar, for me, just didn't fit that theme. Although I like the performance because I like the dances.
Yeah, I thought it was dancer. I thought Kendrick. I think Kendrick is one of the. I think he's an up and coming rapper. I shouldn't say up and coming, but Kendrick is really good, and I liked his performance. Like you said, though, those changes, if you could tweak some stuff, those changes, boy, I told you see, that's why I do a show with you, because you say some stuff sometimes. Ivan, 7 out of 10 times this stuff makes sense. Other than y'all showing me in my whack walk in that video, other stuff, that's good.
That's
good.
I thought it was a good show, though. I really did. I thought they did pretty good. And this is now the second or the third year that Jay-Z has produced the Super Bowl halftime show after he cut the deal with the NFL. Might be the second. I think it's the second.
So let me ask you this: what's Jay-Z role with the NFL?
Well, funny. I just got finished reading our guy Scoop Jackson's book when Scoop was on the show. I got finished reading his book about 3 weeks ago, and he talks about that in one of the chapters, Jay-Z's deal with the NFL. And Scoop put something on my mind I ain't think about. He was like, Jay-Z made a business decision. He's like, people gotta understand there's a difference between Sean Carter and Jay-Z. He's like, Sean Carter is a billionaire, a businessman. Jay-Z is more of the performer. He said Sean Carter made a deal with the NFL to put himself in a position that he can become a future owner of a franchise.
So let me ask you this. This what I just been thinking. I don't know if this, has he said anything about us only having 2 coaches in the NFL?
He, to my
I
knowledge,
could have missed it. I could
I
have missed it.
could have missed it too.
Because you know this one of the things I study now, Jay. You know, Jay, who always talking to you about we need more coaches, we need to do this. What I'm saying about that. Has he said?
No, he hasn't. He hasn't. So I'm looking it up. Yeah, I have not seen anything, and people are actually criticizing him, saying he should say something.
See, I didn't even know they was doing. I didn't even know they were criticizing.
I don't think he's going to do it because, like I just said, I think he wants to own an NFL team. And the way you own an NFL team is not by criticizing the people who got to vote you in to be an owner.
So you just leave it alone.
He just leaves it alone. And then once he gets in the position of ownership, he can then address it directly. You see what I'm saying? He'll have more power to address it. Like he probably figures we got enough people criticizing and we know what the problem is. We got to be able to be in positions of fix it. And again, shout out to our guy Byron Allen, the comedian, but who's also a multi-millionaire who's putting himself in a position to perhaps become the majority owner of the Denver Broncos in the NFL. So I do think within the next few years, we will see a majority black owner, whether it's Jay-Z, Byron Allen, or some other group that comes together. But I think Jay-Z's role right now is he know to get in where he fit in. He said, I'm going to do the halftime show because that's my way in. That's my way to get a seat at the table. And then I'll just keep working my way up. So I think that is his move. And I got to give, again, a shout out to our guy, Scoop Jackson, because he broke it down in his book. And that's why I was like, oh, okay. I can understand that now.
I need to read Scoop's book because I was curious how come Jay-Z hadn't said anything. But sometimes I guess, like you said, I'm gonna give you credit. Sometimes it's stuff that you don't say.
Think about girl. Now neither Snoop or Dre can dance, so let's just put that out there. They ain't no dancers, but they great entertainers. They gave us a good show, man.
They're performers and they create, right? Like you said, they gave us a good show. But once again, Dre, I like this drip. Basic black, Snoop had it, you got, cuz I gotta take you once we hit it real big, I'm gonna take you to the jewelry store.
Oh Lord.
Get you one. We gonna invest our money, which we do. We do invest pretty well, but I gotta invest in you, get you a what's up cuz pendant. That's how we
Lord,
come.
a what's up cuz pendant. All right, I'll be sure to remember that. So but yeah, I do think, and again, we talked a lot about this show. I think what Mike Tomlin did to help out Brian Flores. I think what Jay-Z is doing to try to promote our musical culture in the Super Bowl halftime show, which is one of the biggest watched events in the history of television. And people are mad. Well, why ain't they paying the acts? Man, you know how much money they made just from performing in the Super Bowl because they stream numbers went through the roof that next week. So yeah, the NFL don't have to pay you to do that because you're gonna make a couple million just because you was on the halftime show, and people are not gonna go back and look and see what your music is about. So, shout out to Sean Carter, shout out to Mike Tomlin, and not a shout out to this woman right here. I got to say this. Oh my God. So Brian Flores is suing the NFL because we all know they racist in their hiring practices. And who does the NFL hire as their defense attorney? Former United States Attorney General Loretta Lynch is representing the NFL in its suit against Brian Flores. And I'm gonna ask you this question, Lance, Irvin, because we love black women. We both married to one. You got a black adult daughter. You got a sister. I got female cousins. Why she do this?
Jay, you know me real well. When I put my hand up over my mouth, it's because I really don't want to say how I really feel. So with that being said, she took a job. I'm not knocking nobody from taking a job. But Jay, is that not out the playbook? Let me tell you what me and my man Rodell Davis said. Rodell and I, we love The Wire. So Rodell came to work. I was going through some stuff. He came to work, and the saying was, he said, Avon Barksdale, I think, said, the same as it ever was. You know what the same as it ever was means, right, Jay?
Yeah.
The same old playbook, the same old script. Is this not the same as it ever was playbook?
It's putting Christopher Darden on the prosecution team against OJ. And then when OJ gets off, you blame Christopher Darden for the gloves.
The same as it ever was. You know what? That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna let you expound on this one. Go ahead.
I mean, it ain't really nothing to expound upon. Like you Loretta Lynch, you could take. She got a right to take the job, but why would you take it? All money ain't good money.
What is that? I get it. I get it. Lance Irvin. See, I'm too. What's the word I'm looking for, Jay? I'm too much about us, probably. I don't know if that's the right thing to say.
No, you ain't. We got a big red, black, and green flag on right now on the screen. Everybody knows what we represent.
I mean, do you take the job to get into the room? I don't know. Do you take it because you think they can win?
Here's the problem. She don't even need to get in the room. She already been in the room. That's the problem. And so, in our guy, Kevin Williams, comedian Kevin Williams, shout out to Kevin, he broke it down even further because she's also representing Black McDonald's franchise owners in their discrimination lawsuit against McDonald's. So she's kind of playing both sides of the fence. And, so she'll say, well, I am representing the Black people. I'm representing them in the suit against McDonald's. I'm just being a lawyer. Look, I know plenty of lawyers. And a lot of them say, a lot of time, it ain't the cases that I take. It's the cases that I didn't take.
You don't have to take every job they throw out there to you.
Exactly.
Like you said, I just don't like the way it looked.
I don't like the way it looked.
And I didn't even know she took it until you just said it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like the optics.
Yeah.
I don't like the way it looks.
Yeah. I don't either. It's just not a positive look. I don't like how she did it. But hey, what can I say? She took the job. So we'll see how that works out. But again, we're going to support Brother Flores for what he's trying to do and open doors for more people of color of all racial backgrounds to get these opportunities. So shout out to them. But hey, we're coming up on the end of our show here, our special President's Day edition of What's Up Cuz. And I even found a photo of a better dunk contest, I think, than the one that we saw this weekend.
Some Pee Wee Leaguers dunking.
I think he found a better dunk photo. There was a better dunk contest that took place on Saturday. I think we can find it. Let's say, oh, there it is. There it is, Lance Irvin. That is the better dunk contest. Who doesn't love Oreos dunked in milk, Lance Irvin?
You know it's bad. You know it's bad when you find somebody ducking an Oreo. This wasn't nothing right about it. I can't. Was anything right to you? And I hate we going back to this. I saw nothing right about the dunk contest. Nothing like when Andrew Wiggins came out, like the first guy. He dunked over somebody, pushed up on the guy's shoulder. I'm like, if you gonna hurt him, okay. Cole Anthony comes out in his Timbs. It took him 5 minutes to put his Timbs on. Then the first three was, I didn't know if that was acting, it was stage presence or what. Just nothing. Then whatchamacallit, Jalen Green, who's a high wire act. I seen him in dunk contest, right? His head's at the rim. It took him 30 chances to do a dunk. It normally takes him one. I mean, that was like what, 12 minutes, 15 minutes? Just nothing. Everything that could have went wrong.
Yeah,
wrong.
It was bad. It wasn't a good dunk.
Jay, I'm curious to know how many viewers turned the channel like I did, and my wife had to make me turn it back so she could continue to laugh at that.
I don't think people turned away because it was so awful. They were like, I got to see how this ends. It's kind of like you see the accident about to happen and you should turn away, But you're like, no, I got to see this one. This is gonna
What
be
they
good.
should do, Jay, tell Obi Toppin to get that trophy back. Tell him get a trophy back.
We just gonna vacate the champion for the year 2022.
Matter of fact, give him a trophy with an asterisk. Most attempts tried in the dunk contest that failed. Winner by default. My goodness.
Lord.
I just,
All right.
man, Jay.
Well, that's going to end this episode of What's Up, Cuz, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Lance and I will be back next week. Next week, we will have guests again, but this was a special edition, a President's Edition, President's Day holiday edition of What's Up, Cuz. For my cousin, Lance Irvin, for our super producer, Ivan Vargas, I'm Jason Palmer. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Be safe out there. Be safe out there, and we will see you next week. Don't slap nobody, Juwan Howard.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, we will march on to victory. We will march on to victory. Let us march on to victory.